Yo, 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 Surreal Talk Radio, your man, Calico the Surrealist on WPRK 91.5 FM Winter Park. We are kicking it after dark with our special guest in the building. And right now, man, I got my comedy co-host in here rocking with me tonight, so I'm going to introduce y'all to him first. Then we're going to get this thing to cracking. I got my little cousin exclusive in here. What's going on, cuzzo?
Yes, sir. Chilling like a villain.
Chilling like a villain.
You know how I go.
I feel you. Man, listen, man, I'm excited, man. We got a hot show lined up tonight. We're going to kick things off with my surreal topic of the day. We got music from around the way. We got our throwback track. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do it just like that. And right now, man, without any further ado, my special guest chilling with us tonight. This brother right here, man, he's a rapper. He's a songwriter. He's a record producer, an actor. And in these most recent years, man, he's been getting his humanitarian to work on. You know what I'm saying? As far as like an activist and all of that. We got my man David Banner on the line. What's going on, bro? You there?
What's up with you, brother? Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. You sounding good, bro. You feeling good?
Feeling wonderful, man. Thank you.
I love it. All right, brother. We're going to get things started with my surreal topic of the day. My topic tonight, we're going to talk about consciousness, man. We're going to talk about being woke. We're going to talk about, staying woke, man. And I want to fire it off, man. We talk about consciousness and stuff like that. I know you're an expert in this category here. I want to ask you, man, what does being woke or conscious, what does that mean to you?
Just understanding. One of the things that I tell people a lot is consciousness isn't necessarily good or bad. It's just understanding and knowing. Like, a good example that I give you, Darth Vader was woke. Was woke just like the Jedi were. It's just what you decide to do with the information or that consciousness. You know what I'm saying? You use it either against, humanity and the earth, or you use it to help people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's just having an understanding and your eyes being open to both things seen and unseen.
For sure. My mind, I don't, you know how we was taught. My mind goes exactly towards some, some good, bad, light, dark, evil, goodness, all that type of stuff. That's where my mind goes with what you're saying.
Yeah.
For sure, man. So obviously, if we talking about somebody being woke, then we got to talk about people that's asleep. You know what I'm saying? And so what kind of stuff do you see our people, when I say our people, I'm talking about our hip hop community, I'm talking about our black people, so on and so forth. What do you see our people sleeping in as far as like maybe history, religion, things of that nature?
Well, I think no matter how conscious you believe yourself to be, there's always something else that you can learn. So I don't think that consciousness is anything that you ever conquer. There's always another level. There's always other places that we can go to, mentally, physically, as things that we don't know about, and I think you're always a student to somebody or something, so you're always expanding. You got to think how long existence, is. And so if existence has been what it is, and you've only lived, less than 100 years, at the most a little bit over, 100 years to believe that you had a lot on information or consciousness, like I think that's when you fail, is when you think you know it all.
Right.
So for me, it's always having a hunger. But for me, man, I told my friend, man, I just wish that as a hip hop artist, man, that we could talk about like what's going on with our food. What's going on with the earth. Man, these people are tearing the earth up.
Yeah, they're my kind of topics right there.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether we know it or not, we're going to be affected by the things that these people do.
Yeah.
So whether we step up or not, it's going to affect us and our families, bro.
Yeah, man. It kind of reminded me of what Pac was saying when he was like, we got to change the way we eat. We got to change the way we live, the way we treat each other. That's what kind of like what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah. And for me, bro, we still talking about the same things, and we still have the same problems that our grandparents had. not just our parents, bro. So, you know, something different has to happen. And like, that's one of my criticisms. Like, if I, you know, and I try not to criticize too much as it pertains to our people, because there's a rationale and reason why we are the way that we are. But like, it's like we want different results, but we always go or are attracted to the same type of people, you know? And the crazy thing about, you know, this earth that I think that people don't think about, we are attracted to people who are successful, you know, in the same system that was designed to break us.
Right.
You know, so it would behoove us to, you know, probably do the opposite, you know, if you really, really think about it. You know, so for me, you know, just to answer the question directly, man, I just wish we, you know, would take a bigger step in, you know, what's going on with our food and with the earth and the animals and the environment. You know, I believe that God gave this earth to us. So, you know, if God were to come back, then I believe that we are the ones that are supposed to be held responsible for it. Because the keys to this earth was given to the black man and woman.
For sure, man. You know, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned something, and I thought it was a beautiful point when you was talking about criticizing each other and stuff. And, you know, one of the things, I know I spent a lot of time studying with Hebrew Israelites. I spent about 7 years strong, you know, studying with these brothers. And one of the things that I kind of ran across and noticed was a theme, a tone, was that criticize. Like I found myself getting puffed up, and you know, you gain a little bit of knowledge, and then you take that knowledge and you want to, you know, kind of like subvert someone else with that knowledge. You want to, you know, bring them down instead of using that knowledge in the right. It kind of goes back to what you were saying in the beginning. Instead of, you know, using that knowledge in the right way, or using that being awokenness in the right way, you know, we use it to kind of puff up and show, hey man, I got knowledge. I know more than you, and you sleep, I'm woke, blah, blah, blah. Is that what you were saying when you was talking about criticizing each other?
Well, no, I was just saying that I don't like to criticize our people. Right. You know, so when I said, you know, one of my criticisms, and then back it up by saying, you know, one of the few criticisms, because there's a reason why we are the way that we are. And one of the things that I will tell people is I had a friend once, and he was really critical of our people. And I told him, like, man, you know, you ran to, you know, he was criticizing Christians. And I was like, bro, you ran to the altar until you was 19.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so we have to have patience. And I believe that if you have the information and the information is right and exact, then you are in the God position. Yes, sir. And you are supposed to protect. You are supposed to teach. You're supposed to understand that people don't have that information. Right. You know, and so there's a certain amount of love that is supposed to come along with having that information and being so-called above people.
No, I love it what you're saying, bro. I want to ask you, man, because man, bro, you be saying some key words. You talked about patience just now. How long have you been in this state? Like, I'm sure you haven't always had patience. I know me. I've gotten a lot more humble over the years. And like I said, I used to be tearing people down. But I've developed patience over the years. How long has David Banner been this patient guy? Or is that like, how do you go about gaining that kind of patience?
Well, one thing that I'll tell you, brother, is never be humble. Humble is for slaves. If you look up the word humble, I don't think you should ever bring yourself down to make other people feel comfortable. Like, you a son, I'm a son, we both shine. Your light doesn't dim mine. Right. You know what I mean? So I would suggest, bro, never being humble. Like, always shine to the best of your ability. But it's when you use, if you think, if you shine it directly in somebody's eyes, you're going to do what? You're going to blind them. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to use your light to illuminate the path. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I was about to say, but bro, like, I'll tell you, man, like, it's something that I haven't mastered. I'm not always patient. Like I just went through a period in my life where I was really angry, and I think that it's when you think you're doing the best is when you need to focus in the most. Okay. It's a lifelong journey, brother. And we make mistakes. And one of the things that I'll say to all of you all, man, is just, give yourself some grace. My therapist told me that I'm harder on myself than anybody else is. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I've learned to just be patient with myself and know that we grow and we get smart and, to a certain degree, as the earth progresses and people know more as a whole, that means that you got to re-up again.
For sure.
So we always got to learn, man. And I'm just grateful that, if you think about it, brother, some people go their whole life and not know better. And so, like, with me putting out the God Box, my last album, man, I made that album and I made the actual God boxes, that y'all can still get at davidbanner.com. Like, bro, that was my starter kit to consciousness. I put the things in that box that helped me become conscious because I wanted to help other people, man. And man, I changed the guy's life, or that box, or the box that we put together as a company. Man, it changed the guy's life that was older than me, man. And I'm just grateful for it.
For sure. So let me ask you about these projects here, man. This God Box. What kind of messages, like what are you targeting as far as, like we talking about being woke and stuff like that? What are you targeting? What kind of areas are you? I know you mentioned the way we eat, things of that nature. What all type of things are we targeting on this project?
Man, just, religion. I believe that God wouldn't give you information or allow you to be illuminated by some things if it wasn't meant to question. Right. Some of us are believing the same things, eating the same things, acting the same way that we did as slaves, and we're not slaves. So there are some things that you're supposed to question. And I personally believe anything that's been touched by man should be questioned. Because once a man touches it, it's flawed. So even if you feel like somebody was given the word, you still got to question the fact that, it was then translated by flesh, which is flawed. So I would ask that you read, you consider, but you believe nothing. We have to research, and I'm a firm,
I love that.
And I'm a firm believer that most of the things that we were taught outside of mathematics, is altered in some kind of way, and we have to go and get this information for ourselves. For us to totally trust people who didn't want us on earth and then assume that they're going to give us the pathway to heaven when most of those people didn't want us on earth, I think that's flawed.
I think I see the logic in that. I could definitely get on board and see the logic in what you're saying. Man, real quick, man, I want to know some of these foods and stuff, like some of the stuff we eating. What are some of the type of things that we shouldn't be eating that you feel, we need to get the message out on?
Well, I would always tell people that you have to consult, with your doctor and, your naturopathic healer and the people who are trained in it, bro. I have suggestions, but I'm not a doctor. I haven't, I read, I'm an avid reader, but, I haven't, I believe, with the internet, man, and in some of these places that we worship, people play therapists, people play nutritionists, act like they are well versed in nutrition, and they're not. And right. Just because something works for your body doesn't necessarily mean that it works for somebody else. You got to be careful with your influence.
Right.
What I will tell people is what I've learned in my walk, is that, we gotta get back on our fruits and our vegetables and drinking our water, man.
Yes,
it's and my personal opinion is the same way that I just told y'all not to trust people you know, with your religion, what you put inside of your brain, you also can't trust people with your food.
Right.
You know, especially as Southerners, I'm a Southerner. You know, we gotta be okay with putting our hands in the dirt again.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's something that I aspire to have, is like farms and land, so that we can truly protect our people. I think freedom, you know, is water, electricity, land, food. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, getting back to those fruits and vegetables, brother.
For sure. All right, man. I totally agree with that. Hey, cuz, anything you want to build on this? Anything you want to say?
With the food thing, I do a lot of research on that food stuff. And it's very important that you make sure you're putting the right things in your body.
Right.
It's for your health. It's for your mental stability. The things you eat cause how you think.
Right.
It affects how you think. So if you eating dirty foods, your mind ain't gonna be but so clean.
Yeah.
So
I'm starting to think when you guys are talking about this, I'm starting to think about like how vegans, vegetarians, and stuff like that eat versus, you know, people who eat flesh and things of that nature. How do you feel about flesh? Eating flesh?
I'll just say this, bro. In my research, I found that if humans were meant to eat flesh, that our bodies would God would have given our bodies the ability to handle it without anything outside of our physical presence. So that means that we would have fangs, we would have claws. I remember my biology teacher told me that, and he wasn't even a vegetarian.
Right.
You know, we would have the speed to catch the animals that we need. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what I'll say is, because our bodies have adapted, you know, people have to do the proper research on what's best for their bodies. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, in my walk of life, man, I try to consume as many fruits and vegetables and, you know, and spring water as I can possibly get. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I understand. I totally understand. One of the other things that we put into our bodies, I know has become it's always been, probably for any of us been born, very popular to put in our bodies, though, is marijuana. How do you feel about marijuana? Do you look at it as being medical, or do you look at it as being, you know, just something recreational that people are just using to kind of distort their minds and things of that nature?
Well, I'm gonna ask you all a quick question. Do you believe that you are what you eat?
I would say that.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So a wise man told me once that if you are what you eat, then the more that you eat things that are alive, the longer you'll stay alive. The more that you eat things that are dead, the quicker you are to fall in the ground and get buried. So if you are what you eat,
Makes sense.
you eat dead things, then you become dead. If you eat things that are, the closer that you eat, you know, raw fruits and vegetables that are still alive. You think about it, I was telling my little cousin that today. He's battling, you know, blood pressure. And again, I'm not a doctor, but I told him, I was like, you remember back in the day when we was in Mississippi and we would pick them plums right off of the tree and eat them right off the tree? Well, they still connected to the tree.
Yeah.
They were still alive. Those are the things that are best for us. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So that's my opinion. As far as the weed is concerned, you know, what I would tell people, again, you anything that's touched by man, you have to research and be careful of. You know, the stuff that we smoking now, it's not the same thing that our parents were smoking. You know, the same food that our parents was eating. You know, when you would hear some people say, well, my grandma ate this and my grandma ate that and she lived to be this age. Well, I know my grandma also raised most of the stuff that she ate. Mm-hmm. You know,
right, yeah.
The food was grown locally in a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what I would tell people is, man, like a lot of the stuff that people are putting into their bodies, man, it ain't what it was. And these people touching it. And, you know, you got to know what they touching it with.
Right.
And what they do is they use our people to make it more and more marketable, but you really don't know what you're putting into your body. So I would just say, if we're going to use the excuse that it comes from God's earth, then make sure that they ain't been through a lab first.
Right.
Is what I say.
Definitely, man. I love the point that you made about, being alive, things being alive that you eat. And I never even looked at it that way. I'm glad you shared that, man, for sure.
Nature show you that, though.
Yeah, I mean, but we only be, what I mean,
if you think about, if you ate 16 apples, right?
Right.
The next day, you digest it however you digest it. But eat 2 burgers that's the same weight as them 18 apples.
I feel
you're going to have that in your system the next day.
For
so
sure.
if we was made to have it, we'd be able to digest it quicker.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I agree. All right. So, Banner, man, I want to ask you, before I want to get into your music career, but I want to get a couple of quick questions knocked out the way right quick. The American Negro's origin. Where do you stand with this? Who do you think the American Negroes are as far as the origin?
Oh man, that's something that I don't get into, because one thing that I tell people is there's a whole, regardless of what you believe in, and people argue that. I don't think we're at that point to argue that point, because neither side has really acquired enough in America to show people, when I use history and I use, knowledge and the things that I've acquired, I use it to show people how they can move forward too.
Okay.
I think a lot of times we end up separating ourselves when it's not necessary. Certain arguments I just don't have, because I don't believe that we're winning. I don't believe that we can, that's why I try not to have the religious conversation with people anymore. I know that people are really passionate about the origin of Black people and where they've been. The thing that I have understood is that the biggest thing for me right now is that we're the original man and woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we've been all over. If you really do the knowledge on most of these places, our people were there.
Okay.
I
think that's big what you're saying, as far as kind of like not getting into the messy aspect of it. One of the things that I kind of deal with now is like a lot of people kind of want to entertain that information, but they aren't putting the same energy into what we got going on today. Like I know a lot of people, like I got a family member that's so into where we come from and our lineages or whatever, but they don't come to family reunions. They don't love on the people that's right here next to them, but they worried about the people that's dead and gone way before us. You understand what I'm saying? Like if I'm understanding what you're saying, it's not like you kind of in agreement with that. Like you more so.
No, it's not quite that. All I'm saying is that a lot of people. This is what I say. A lot of people, like you all said in the beginning, they want to prove. They don't want to build. They want to prove that they're smart.
Right.
So just give me the information that you have. If it's right and exact, I'll do my own research. And if I find it right and exact, then we'll move from that point. But I'm not here to argue.
Right.
I want my people to be free, and I want people to have the space and the right to believe in what they want to believe in. And if the thing that I realized, and it took me a while to get here, if I know that I'm right about what I'm saying, well, if you don't believe it, that's just shame on you.
Gotcha.
I'm only here to be the messenger. Sure. And so for me, it's not worth the argument, because whether you right or they right, we still down bad in America. As a matter of fact, we still down bad in most parts of this earth. So how can I take that information and turn it into something that's valuable for my people? Right. That's what I want to talk about. Let's get free. And then we can figure that part out, right, as we moving forward. But I just want to obtain information that's going to move us forward. And not only do you show me or teach me whatever you want to teach me, and that's cool. But show me how I can use that in real time. I think that's what those kids want. The kids want to know, okay, how can I take this information and survive in this wilderness right now?
Okay, right. Yeah. Okay. So you tell me in light of moving forward, I kind of want to touch on some of these movements.
And guys, I got 10 minutes. And I got to escape.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of skip past this then. Yeah, I just want to touch on some of your music career here. Man, I met you back in the day, man, at the Ozone Awards. When you and Trina was hosting. It was a funny situation. I was sitting next to Kaya, which was a awkward moment because they had the whole beef thing with Jackie O and everything like that. But David Banner, man, I want to ask you real quick about this name, David Banner. From what it looks like, does it have anything to do with like Bill Bixby and the David Banner, the Incredible Hulk thing?
Well, I just say from a business standpoint, that probably is not the coolest thing to talk about from a business standpoint.
Okay.
But what I will say, man, is that there are similarities in, my travels, and I had real bad anger problems growing up.
Right.
And I realized that your anger is the remote control for people to control you.
Right.
So that's one of the things, in my life in general is just controlling my anger, man, and just becoming a better person. We getting ready to release the God Box 2. And one of the things that I had to deal with was, just mental health in general and figuring out how to move yourself as a businessman without being parasitic and not using your people, and, how to navigate yourself as a black man, without allowing the anger and the fear and all the things that we got to go through as black men on this earth, really, without it, taking a toll on you in a detrimental way. So, I'm excited about the album and really being able to address a lot of these topics.
Yeah, we definitely looking forward to the music, man. I'm gonna do my best to get with you, man, so I can get some of this stuff on the radio. I want to get a couple of these fans' questions out here for you, man, and then we let you go, man. So one of the questions from the fans are, what are your thoughts on our current president?
Bro, I'm a firm believer that until our people figure out what it is we want from America and leverage the system, I'm a firm believer that the right and left wing are on the same bird.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, okay. I can dig that.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me.
And hold on, I'm not done. And the Democrats feel like we owe them something, so they do nothing, and we don't leverage our power with the Republicans, so they don't do nothing either. So okay. if you, I was always told, if you can't write down what you've achieved or what you've been able to garner on a sheet of paper, then you've been duped.
Oh yeah, I feel you on that. Hang on, I'll start one. I want to ask you some Obama questions, but we gonna skip. How about this, man? From the fans, it says, "What are your thoughts on the current state of hip hop?"
I think hip hop is, as it always has been, it's a reflection of where the people are. And if you have any criticisms about where hip hop is, then you probably, are not doing enough. Really,
part of the problem.
To change where society is.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, are we in a state of constant commercialism? Well, yeah, we're in a state of constant commercialism in real life.
Right.
So my thing is, and I said this when I defended hip hop in front of Congress, if you want these kids to rap about roses, then go plant some.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
our generation was the one that said money over everything, and these kids just took it to the next level, which is supposed to be a natural progression. So for me, man, I think hip hop has grown, and so no different than I remember telling somebody this one time is that at every stage in hip hop, you know, there were certain things, and as hip hop grew older and it expanded, and more cultures and more people adopted to it, people start giving more money to hip hop, and I think what happened is that we gave it to the corporations. And so the corporations care nothing about talent, don't care nothing about corporations, they care about money.
Right.
So
Sure.
when we adopted those same principles, then we end up where we are. And if people really, really want to see it change, then go buy something. All you gotta do is go buy it. Because one thing about, like we just said, if these corporations don't care about nothing but money, they're going to follow the money.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You know? So.
I got one more question on here that looks really good. So I want to try to give it to you as your last question, brother.
Right.
Question is, if you was to do a versus, who would you put yourself up with against?
I don't. To me, bro, I don't think nobody. I compete with me.
Okay.
You know, and nobody can beat me being me. You know, and when you look at most of these when you look at most of these competitions, you know, it's usually black men up against black men, and it's a public lynching to me. Now, it's not that I don't like competition, because I'm as competitive as everybody else, but like I want to know what we get out of it. You know,
I'll be there too.
If it was a million on the line, if it was
yeah,
you know, if we building something for the kids, but like if I'm gonna do a versus, like I tell you this. If we're gonna do a versus, I would like to see a versus against another genre of music.
Yeah,
like I want to see
us. Bruce Springsteen versus Bon Jovi.
Got you.
But what I'm saying is, I would like to see Justin Timberlake and Usher. That's what I want to see.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I want to see something that something comes out of it, man. Like I be wanting to see a building of the culture. You know, and the other thing is, what I would say is, I like to see some rules, because you got to think about it. Most people in rap, because I was that way. You know, I was thinking about when I was younger, like if I liked a rapper, it was nothing, unless it was just a total beatdown. There's nothing that another rapper could say against the rapper that I. So it's usually stacked anyway. But like if I think with hip hop, we need to have some rules, because if you think about it, in culture in general, especially Southern culture, man, like we got different rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's a full. Because I always told people, like, I would love to see what you do with an Outkast beat. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you notice, like the longer that it takes for a group of people to get on in hip hop, the more well versed they are. And you got to think, as Southerners, we've been through just about every iteration of what rap done been through, which gives us the opportunity to be able to rap over just about any beat you could give us.
Right.
So the lyrical presence is very, very important. But every other aspect of it is too.
Yeah, man.
You know,
like Andre said, we got a story to tell, man. You know, yeah, man. All right. Man. I totally understand. All right, brother. Listen, man, I'm going to let you get up out of here. Before I do so, man, I'm going to give you some time to give any shout outs, anything you got going on, you want to promote, anything of that nature, man. I want to give you that time to go ahead and do so now.
Man, the God Box 2 is on his way. Make sure you go to davidbanner.com, sign up, get on the email list. We're building some really, really dope things coming up. I'd like to thank everybody for supporting me from the beginning all the way to now. It's been a wonderful, wonderful ride, man. And I'll just say, man, in closing, man, for people to just watch themselves, man. You know, I'm watching what's going on, you know, with the actors, but the same thing happened to music. Why are as musicians terms the same way that the actors are? Have you ever thought about that?
No, I didn't even think about it.
Like, we got hit first. So my thing, man, is just make sure that you're informed. Make sure that you stand by what's right, man. And man, power to the people. And big shout out to Alabama.
Hey, man, you know, I was gonna bring up Alabama, and you know, we got time. Well, yo,
you
man.
could have. Much love to Mississippi, man.
Yeah,
man, love, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Peace.
Hey, man, thank you so much for joining our show, man. We totally appreciate you, bro. Peace.
All right, peace.